Aloha gang, what's up? This is John coming at you from Wheeler Motors, and we're here in the electric motion trailer for the 2023 TKO. We are actually about to do, we are on the Sunday prologue, and we're going to do the gate. They're going to do the E-moto at 9 o'clock. So that's pretty awesome. See what I got here? You guessed it, we have the E-Scape X, and if you've seen from my previous posts on Instagram, we actually have the bike here, but we're going to do a quick walk around view of the bike before it gets out there to win, to actually go for the championship for the E-moto and an actual AMA #1 plate. So here, check this out guys. Everything that we've talked about, you'll see what we've been looking and scoping out these past couple months. Alright guys, this is what we've all been waiting for. This is the prototype model, I've been told, but this is what Spencer Wilton number 17 is racing now. He took the prologue number 3 in the time run, and he took number 1 yesterday. So let's see what he can do today. But this is the E-Scape X prototype bike that Spencer Wilton is racing today at the TKO 2023. So first off, this bike is beautiful. They got, they have a regular moto number plate, regular moto fender, and of course we've talked about the forks being inverted, right? This whole time we've always known that the forks have been inverted. The brand is hard to tell still, I haven't looked into it. And the brake tech front caliper also have a modified hub. Now this hub will obviously allow for the stem and for the oversized rotor. XL wheels on the front, and then coming over, of course, this is the clutch model, and nothing's changed with the drivetrain. The drivetrain is completely the same. As you'll notice, we got S3 pegs on it. The frame, of course, is one of the biggest deals, right? So with the brace here, you can see there actually is that brace that we saw. There's an extra reinforcement back here, and also with those forks you have Gecko special parts. So it's a special part made for the triple clamps, as well as, of course, like we all seen before, steering stops. Now there is an extra brace on the bottom, and you can see it's actually braced up quite a bit more to make it solid for these steering stops. And I'm not exactly sure if the steering stops are placed the exact spot they need to be, but like I said, this is a prototype, but it does work. Yeah, so this is one of the big deals. I believe the models that they're racing out in Europe actually have an extra brace here, which is what we talked about in one of our past videos. And if you haven't seen that video, check the link above, where we take basically a picture of this bike and we just kind of break it down and talk about it, right? On top of that, of course, you come back to the rear wheel, you have a smaller sprocket than normal, so a little bit higher RPM, and of course you have another hub to take the bigger brake rotor on this side as well. And like the front, there's a brake tech master cylinder with a mod here, so your brake tech caliper isn't hiding behind the swing arm like it normally is, but this is mounted up, give you a little extra stopping power. Of course, you got the XL wheels, which is always awesome. And this Michelin Enduro, now this is what I wanted to know as well. Like the Michelin tire clears the swing arm quite well, and that's pretty impressive. But I never did work with a 120 90/18. I've never had one, so when I get back home, I'm gonna have to throw that on my wheel and see if it'll work, because that'll be great to run. We can see here that his tooth is a 56 tooth chain ring. Okay, so it's a little bit smaller. Yeah, I think the smallest the S3 makes is a 55. Yeah, and then regular charging port. They've option to put the voltage meter here. Just easier access, because of course you have your pro taper bars, for the racing feel, not so much the trials bars, which are a little bit more straight, have a little bit more sweep back. I'm not exactly sure what model this is. Oh, it's a SX Race, which is pretty cool. And then of course the bar protector and the bar mount for those big hits in case you get into some trouble. So what he's done is they've modified the foot peg here, and they've actually added a few welds to it and a few pieces to open it up just to make it a lot bigger. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah. And then on top of that, they also have, like we also did talk about, a reservoir shock. Now this is a regular Olay shock. It's nothing special, but it does have a rebound and compression on this piece right here, so it's a little bit easier to adjust. And you have, you know, of course, the regular piston, just like your regular MX KYB type suspension. So that's interesting. That's really what makes the bike feel a lot better, I think. And you know, just makes the bike feel more enduro. The better forks in the front, the better shocks in the back, everything tied together just makes it work a lot better. Now the cool thing about this bike is, now let's talk about power, right? So with the power, we're not running normal 50 volt 14S pack. As we see here, you can see it's 82 volts, 82.7 volts max. So this is a 72 volt battery. It's mixed in with a Silexcon controller, but it's a different model controller. I have a picture, I'll put it in there. I forget exactly what the model number was, but this bike rips. In green mode, feels like red mode, just because of the higher voltage. The motor is freer to spin. You can spin up a lot faster. You get a lot more power on this bike. So not only are you giving it more feel with the suspension, not only on the front or the shock in the back, you know, with the tire upgrades, but you're actually putting more power to the bike, which is pretty amazing. And it's been shown that he's been putting it through the tests and, you know, getting first place. So this is actually a really good test for this bike in like the extreme enduro challenge that we all like. And of course the Trials style, Trials frame, still conducive to what this bike is. I'm gonna try and measure, on a previous video, I'm gonna try and measure this distance, because I believe the forks not only give it extra range, of course, but it gives it a kick. So the rake out is a little bit more. That way you have better control going down in straights, going down, like it's actually a lot smoother, similar to my Tech forks, but these forks don't seem as heavy. The bike doesn't seem as heavy as my Tech forks do with, you know, mounted on the bike. Alright gang, well you got it. That was the Escape X prototype model that Spencer Wilton is racing for the 2023 TKO Knockout in the pro main event, well in the main event for the ECR E-moto title actually. So this is going to be an AMA plate and it's very, very exciting. Stay tuned to see how he does. I'm going to be out there trying to take some video of this stuff and catch him in some spots. But yeah, this is going to be an exciting thing, and hopefully E-motion comes out on top like always. And until next time, this is John bringing it to you first, to the EM community, the Escape X. Aloha.